There's a church in the valley by the wildwood, no lovelier place in the dale. No spot is so dear to my childhood as the little brown church in the vale.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
A couple of weeks ago, I was up here as podium assistant and saw that we didn't know who we were going to have today, so I volunteered to do today's service, not having a clue what I was going to talk about. And Spirit usually lets me know. And so this week, I was a little surprised. They decided I need to talk about tolerance. And so I kind of asked a few questions, and I think some of it's going to come to me while I'm standing here. They gave me a little bit of idea what I'm talking about, but who knows where it's going and what's going to happen. But if you take a look at what's happening out there in the world today, there is no tolerance for anything. Everything is becoming a black and white, if it doesn't suit me, I'm going to get rid of it, and a very disposable world at the same time that, okay, it's not what I like, I'm walking away. And a lot of the things that bother us in the world are either things that we're supposed to be learning from or reflections of what we don't like in ourselves that we're seeing in other people in other situations that we should really be looking at rather than just going, that's not for me, I'm going to walk away from it. Because what do you learn from walking away and segregating yourself in a situation that is only what's perfect for you? There's no lessons in that. There's no learning in that. Now, there are situations that you do have to walk away from, I feel. And I think that part of the way to figure that out is when something's bothering you, take a look at how it's bothering you and why it's bothering you. Is it bothering your ego and just like, they disagree with me, they voted for a different president than I did, so I can't be their friend anymore? Or is it, in which case you look at that and go, okay, there is a lot of pros and cons to a lot of different things. Maybe there are some good things. Maybe I should pay a little bit of attention to what my friends think is a good way to run the country. And, if you can't come to that agreement, well, maybe it's time to walk away, but it's not a time to become, horribly argumentative. Debate's always good. Argument is no one wins. But if it hits you and hurts you deep in your soul or physically, then maybe it's time to look at that and walk away from that. Many years ago, I had a friend that we started working together in 2003, and we instantly became best friends, inseparable, did everything together. We worked over the course of the next 7 or 8 years. We worked for 4 different companies that they would call us up and they would offer us a job as a team because they knew who we were and what we could accomplish as a team. They would hire the both of us. That's how well we knew each other and worked together. And then in the last job that we worked together, we had a customer. I'm a gay man. This customer was the biggest bigot and biggest homophobe you could ever meet. And for some reason, this friend of mine, who I've been friends with for 7 or 8 years, started hanging out with this guy. And then he'd come back and he would tell me all the jokes that the man made. And it's like, wait a second, you're supposed to be my best friend. And you're standing here telling me how much you're enjoying the jokes that this man is making at my expense and all those people like me's expense. That's not someone that I can be a friend with. And so I really looked at that, and it's like that is something that really hits you very deep. It's the very core of who you are, and that's not something that you should tolerate. That's something that at that point it becomes a learning experience for the other person. I gave them the option of you either need to change, go back to the way we were so that we can continue to be friends, and you need to understand what you're telling me, or we need to end this friendship. And he looked at it, and he went home and talked to his wife about it for hours and was really feeling bad that he had hurt me that bad. So, that was a learning experience for him that had I just walked away from it, he wouldn't have learned anything from it. I don't think I need to explain to him what had happened and why it was happening. There have been many times in my life that, little things bother me, and depending on the situation, if you're dating someone or married to someone and there's things that you can't tolerate in that relationship, but years later, I can still be friends with the person because the little things they did to annoy me, well, they're little things that annoy me now, where there were big things that annoyed me in the relationship. But just the little things in life that people, get intolerant of tend to be getting bigger and bigger, bigger and bigger. I can't think of the word that I want for that. I'm sorry. Give me just a second. The bigger issues. The little things are getting blown out of proportion, and people are walking away for reasons that they, really, if they looked at it, they shouldn't be. And I kind of want to bring that to the spiritualist church. And if you look back, it's a little over 100 years ago, there was a huge divide in the spiritualist church between the people who believed in reincarnation and the people who didn't. And it created a big divide. Two separate churches. They're still both spiritualist churches, but you don't talk, and ministers will work back and forth between the two of them sometimes. You have to be careful about what you say in which church. And my gut is telling me, and I'm feeling like there's a little bit of insight that's coming from Spirit, that we may be seeing another happening of that in the not too distant future, that spiritualism, because we're starting to get so diverse that people are going to start with, our church doesn't want to do that, and our church doesn't want to do that. But, we're all still spiritualists. And while it may not be exactly what you agree with and exactly what you believe, I think that there's still a basis of spiritualism in it. And what I like about the bylaws in this particular church, and I do have to say that Reverend Betsy and I wrote this piece of it ourselves, and I can't quote it exactly, and I couldn't find a copy to bring up, but our mission statement states that we give a space to everyone to worship the God of their choosing, understanding that they are all the same God, and we don't dictate how you have to do that worship. And I think that's important as we go forward, looking, and keep that in mind as we go forward as spiritualists, looking at the changes that are happening to us in the world, and that we need to keep our church as a safe and sacred space for everybody. I think that will be needed a whole lot more as the world continues to go in the route that it's going, and I think that tolerance is something that we really need to not only all live, but all teach. So I'd like you all to kind of keep that in the back of your mind in your daily lives as you go around dealing with everybody, whether it's at work, it's at play, it's whatever. Be a little more tolerant. Look at what's happening around you, and if it's annoying you, is it annoying me because it's something I don't like about myself that I'm seeing, or is it annoying me because it's something that's really wrong? And I just ask you to keep an eye on that. Thank you.